Good morning, Airport Fire. It's Dr. Mackey. It's June 4th, continuing the marathon run of policy reviews. This one is actually currently under review, but I don't expect it to change right now. So I'll give it to you. It's policy 8018. It's overdose and poisoning ingestion. This one refers directly back to decrease in soaring. But there are three specific overdose types called out in this policy. I'm going to group two of them together because they're almost exactly, well, they look exactly the same. It's calcium channel blockers and beta blockers. So going back to cardiac physiology, we have channels in our heart that are calcium channels, and we also have potassium sodium channels. So when you have a block on one of those, it's basically putting brakes on the heart, and that affects your heart rate and your blood pressure. So the first step in both of these, if systolic blood pressure is low, you give them a fluid challenge and you max out at 1,000 cc's. And the policy reminds you twice to monitor for pulmonary edema. And that's because you're fluid overloading the heart, but the heart's not able to beat at a rate to keep up with that, and you theoretically could cause pulmonary edema. Next step, if the heart rate is less than 50 and the systolic blood pressure is less than 90, you're going to kick in with some atropine, 1 milligram every 5 minutes. This is one of the rare places in our policy we actually do use atropine. And then once the max dose of atropine is reached, which is 3 milligrams, if you still have got a heart rate less than 50 and a systolic blood pressure less than 90, then you can start using epinephrine. Now, I want to take a pause here because right now in this policy and for the foreseeable future, this epinephrine is different. Pay very close attention here. This epinephrine is directly out of the 1 to 10,000 syringe. So whether or not you're taking a cc of the 1 to 1,000 and making it a 1 to 10,000, you're going to be administering 1 cc of this slowly. This is not push dose pressors. This is a direct infusion of epinephrine. This could get missed pretty easily. So if in beta blocker overdose and calcium channel blocker overdose, your systolic blood pressure remains below 90 despite being given a fluid challenge and atropine, then you're going to move to epinephrine, but this is a direct IV push of epinephrine at 0.1 milligram increments. And then finally, at the very end of this, you can consider pacing if the blood pressure remains less than 90 and the heart rate's less than 50. So the order of things is fluid bolus for the blood pressure, atropine for the heart rate and blood pressure, epinephrine for the heart rate and blood pressure, and finally pacing for the heart rate and blood pressure. Tricyclics are pretty easy. They're fluid challenges. You're watching for that QRS to widen, so the heart rate's going to go up at 120. Systolic blood pressure is going to drop. The QRSs are going to widen. You could get seizures and start getting PVCs. On tricyclic overdoses, the treatment is sodium bicarb, 1 milliequivalent per kilogram, slow IV push for any signs of cardiac toxicity. Finally, Benadryl overdoses, diphenhydramine overdoses. If someone takes a large dose of diphenhydramine, it acts like a tricyclic when it is an overdose. So pay attention. If someone is overdosed on Benadryl, the treatment, if they're tachycardic or develop wide QRS complexes, is sodium bicarb. Okay? All right. We'll get on with the next one. See you soon.